Hello, Taco Videos and Anime Curious. My name is RandomSama613 and welcome to Anime Opinions. The end of the spring 2014 anime season is upon us. It has already begun. And as such, I have some final thoughts on a couple of series for you. As opposed to seasons past when I did them kind of as a 3 or 4 per video, I'm going to do probably 1 or 2 specific videos because there weren't that many that I really wanted to give my thoughts on because there are some continuations, some second seasons, and I figured I'll just talk about the ones that I feel like talking about. So, for the first anime I'm going to talk about, it's going to be a surprise to the season. It's one I wasn't initially going to watch, and that is Kawai Complex Guide to Manners and Hostel Behavior. This was a 12-episode anime done by Brainsbase, and it was a surprise of the season for me. It was probably one of my favorites of the season, which surprised me because, as I said, wasn't an anime I was planning on watching initially. Just to start off, the animation for Kawai Complex was absolutely gorgeous. It has 2 distinct animation styles. It has possibly the most gorgeous animation style of any series this season for the majority of the animation, the majority of the show, and then for some of the more comedic bits, there's another chibi animation style that they went with. And I think the 2 styles accentuate each other really, really well, and they bounce off of each other and kind of help to break up the show and make it interesting and unique visually. One of the other standouts of the animation is that the eyes are absolutely gorgeous the way that they're animated. They have a ton of depth and shine, and they really help to make the characters feel a little more alive as opposed to just being 2-dimensional. Another thing to mention, of course, is that the backgrounds were absolutely gorgeous. They were unique, there was a lot of variety even for the same locations. It looked like they weren't reusing assets, they were reusing new backdrops, and that really helped to, again, make the series seem varied in where it based everything. Another thing, like I was saying about varied stuff, is that the characters were also very varied in their details. They didn't all look the same. They didn't have that issue that some slice of life shows can have, is that it's hard to differentiate the characters. And I never had that problem in Kawai Complex. I can actually tell you about each of the characters individually, which is somewhat rare for a slice of life series. Like I said, they tend to be a little samey in my experience. So, and as a result, all these characters were super expressive. And they all, like I said, were unique, and that really helped propel the series into one of my, probably the top show of this season for me. Next up would be, of course, the soundtrack is what I'm going to talk about. The OP and ED were fantastic. I listen to them every single week, which is somewhat rare. I don't always listen to the opening and ending of every single show every week. After, a few weeks, I usually start skipping the opening, and I almost never listen to the ending. But it was fantastic, and I greatly enjoyed it every single time. In addition to that, the music for just the scenes themselves was really good. It was unique, it helped to set the tone for whatever scene was going on, it helped to accentuate the comedy, it also helped to accentuate the more serious tones and the more heartwarming moments. So that really helped a lot as well. The next thing, of course, is the characters. The characters of the series are all fantastic, including the 2 main characters of Ritsu Kawai and Usa. They were both excellent characters. All the supporting characters are excellent, from all of the housemates to the other characters at Usa and Ritsu's school to the people at Usa's job and all the other supporting cast that were included into the series. And they were all varied and interesting, like I said earlier. They all felt unique. They felt like real people. They had personality quirks, they had faults, they had downsides, they had upsides, and they felt really human, and I really, really enjoyed that about the series. And another big thing about the series is that there's a chemistry between all of the characters. The way that they interact is unique between each pair of characters. There's not a lot of sameness. For the most part, there are a couple exceptions, but essentially they all interact with each other uniquely, which is, again, something that's very refreshing to see in a slice of life anime. And of course, I can't talk about the series without talking about the plot. I wouldn't say that it's a particularly groundbreaking plot. There's not an overarching story per se, other than Usa-kun trying to be closer with Kawai-senpai. That's about the only overarching plot you're going to get for the most part. Pretty much every episode is self-contained. The last 2 episodes feed into each other and are a 2-part, and there are some recurring side characters, that is, but otherwise everything is self-contained within that plot. But I think that's a good thing, and the plot made me smile every week. I was always in a good mood after watching Kawai Complex. There's not a single episode I didn't enjoy, which, again, for a slice of life anime is somewhat rare because I can usually find at least 1 episode that I don't like out of a slice of life series. So it was a very refreshing series to watch from all aspects, and it was greatly enjoyable. But at the same time, it wasn't a particularly groundbreaking series. I wouldn't say it did anything particularly unique, which is fine. It knew what it was, and it did an excellent job with it, and it had enough variance to make it interesting to watch, but again, I wouldn't say it was a particularly unique series. So those are my final thoughts on the Kawaii Complex Guide to Manners and Hostile Behavior. But what do you guys think? Go ahead and leave your comments down below, letting me know what you think about this series. If you liked the video, go ahead and throw me a like. It helps me out a lot. It lets me know that I'm doing something correctly. If you didn't like the video for whatever reason, go ahead and please leave me a dislike. I appreciate it. It also tells me I did something wrong. But by all means, also leave a comment and let me know what you think I could have done better. I'm also going to take this opportunity to say that I said I'd be trying to do a review every couple weeks. I don't know what my video release schedule is going to look like, just because everything's been a little bit crazy in my personal life. So I'll try and get videos out on something resembling a regular basis, but I can't guarantee exactly when they'll be coming out anymore, unfortunately. But until next time, I've been RandomSama613, this has been Anime Opinions, and until then, watch more anime.